Can you tell that story? Because I love that story.
Yeah. So I remember wanting to find an apartment that was in a particular neighborhood. I did not necessarily the gang neighborhood, because I was like, God, I don't need to live in the neighborhood to work with kids in gangs. And God said, these kids, they need you to move into this neighborhood. So there was this one apartment, and it was a beautiful apartment, but I could not stand the bathroom. I was like, I do not want to move into this one. And I kept looking and looking and looking, and ended up back at this apartment one day. Looked at the bathroom. I was like, I guess maybe, I don't know. I still don't know. I went and I sat on the porch, and right at the porch was a lamppost.
Mm.
And it was the only one on the block. And it was shining so bright. And I remember God saying, this is what I've called you to be a light in a kid's darkness. And I said, well, I'm going to have to learn how to adjust to this bathroom, because this is my home. And I literally signed the lease that day.
So that was the moment where the hope dealer to the dope dealer was born.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember hanging out with some kids on the block in the neighborhood and talking about the hope dealer. And they're like, hey, that's what you are to us. And yeah, that's when the hope dealer was born.
That's awesome. We'll get to more of that. But I want to talk about a little bit more about this idea of your ethnicity.
Sure.
Obviously, as an organization, Urban Youth Workers, we're all about the urban context and culture. You talked a little bit about the challenges of your ethnicity, but you began to see your ethnicity as a gift, right? Can you talk about that? Because it was partly something your mom told you, right?
Right, absolutely. That's when she told me that I had the best of both worlds. If you know me, you know that I love being biracial. Would I want to be Puerto Rican? Absolutely. But being biracial is the best thing I think that has ever happened to me. And it truly is a gift. I'm able to navigate a lot of different spaces.
Yeah.
And then in some spaces, I'm not Black enough. Some spaces, I'm not white enough. In the Latino context, I was fully enough. And so I think that's why I gravitated towards that space. I think because everybody thought I was Puerto Rican. It's probably
you're brown like us, right?
Exactly, right? I just don't have the Taino, but I have the African, I have the European descent. But yeah, being biracial has always to me been a blessing and a gift. I love it.
How does that affect, or how does that change the way that you work with young people? Because you're working obviously with young people primarily in Latino, Black communities, right?
Right.
How do you talk to them about their ethnicity?
With the particular work that I do, that conversation really doesn't come up a lot.
Okay.
It comes up a lot in maybe like a negative view, as far as like most of the guys that I see that are in the prisons are Black and brown, right? How can we change that? Why is that the case? So we have conversations around that. But a lot of these kids are very proud to be African American, to be Latino, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Ecuadorian, whatever the case may be. I think this generation has a sense of pride in that, but lots of challenges that come with it as well.
Yeah. Well, I fully believe that they see it as a gift within their community. Do you see them see it as a gift outside of their community?
That's a really good question. I don't really experience that much with them, but I definitely, based on conversations that I've had, I don't think that they see it as a gift. I think they see it more as a challenge.
I can
especially
see
in Chicago. You could just walk down the block, and because you have the same hairstyle and the same skin color as someone else, you could be easily mistaken for somebody else, right? You get judged, you get criticized, critiqued, the whole 9 yards. So I don't necessarily think they think it is a gift, and I would love for that narrative to change for them.
Yeah.